I just want to welcome you to today's Pro Bono Awards ceremony and presentation from Judge Taliaferro. My name is Kayleen Glazer, and I am the 3L Access to Justice Pro Bono Fellow here at the law school. And I, on behalf of the Access to Justice program, would just like to express some gratitude before we begin the ceremony today. Thank you to Judge Taliaferro for being here today and for your dedication to public interest and pro bono work. Thank you to Dean Parrish for presenting the awards and for your continued support of pro bono at Maurer. Thank you to Monica and FBD for co-sponsoring this event with the law school and for your support of pro bono programming at Maurer. Thank you to Noodles for sponsoring this event and for providing a delicious lunch for us. And last, thank you to all of the award winners for your continued dedication to pro bono at the law school. Now I'd like to introduce Professor Amy Applegate to introduce Judge Taliaferro. Professor Applegate is a clinical professor of law and the director of the Viola J. Taliaferro Family and Children Mediation Clinic.
Did you all hear that? The Viola J. Taliaferro Family and Children Mediation Clinic. Yay. That is such an honor for me. I was going to tell you a little bit about Judge Taliaferro before she speaks to you. Don't worry, I will be short. But there are some facts that I learned about her in kind of getting ready for this, and even in the last minute in the elevator today, I learned something new. She was born in Virginia and graduated from high school at age 14. 14, that's pretty significant. She got her bachelor's degree in 1947 and then got a master's degree from Johns Hopkins in the 50s or late 50s, early 60s. She's had careers as a social worker and a teacher. She received her JD from this law school in 1977 and went on to have a career as an attorney and then as a judge. As every good researcher knows, you have to get a good source for your information, so I went online to check, and the first thing that popped up was Wikipedia, and then Luminapedia and all of this. And I can tell you that what's out there about the judge is that she is a retired Monroe County Circuit Court judge and community leader in Bloomington. The judge was our Monroe County's first African-American judge and served with great distinction, this is universally claimed, great distinction in the area of juvenile justice. She has done more pro bono and public service work than anybody I know, over many more years than anybody I know, and just worked tirelessly. Her area of pro bono would be helping families do better for their children. That was her area, that was her concern, and she did it both as an attorney, when she was working and being paid and not being paid, as a judge, when she was working as a judge and not working as a judge. She has had more honors and accolades, and I won't go through them all, but it's incredible. I just wanted to say that for me personally, she's been this tremendous role model and mentor. When I first met her back in the late 1990s, when I moved here, and we remember some of those early days, I found her to be brilliant, energetic, hardworking, and compassionate. And she was totally committed to children. That was the thing that was the most inspiring thing for me. She could remember children that she saw in the courtroom if they came in. If she saw them on the street, she remembered them from her cases. Years later, kids who had been through her court, whether it was in the abuse and neglect area, whether it was in the juvenile detention area, they would come up to her when I was out and about with her and tell her in front of me how she had changed their lives and that she never gave up believing in them and that they had made successes of themselves. And anyway, so I have tried to make my professional life model somewhat what the judge does. I can't possibly ever reach that level, but for her, every child is special, and we try to carry that vision into the work we do at the mediation clinic. We work with low-income and indigent parents who are in conflict, and we try to keep them focused on what the children need and help them figure out what's best for their kids. So it means a lot to me that my clinic, that the one that I'm directing, is named for Judge Taliaferro, and she is now going to talk to you a little bit about why it is so important to do this kind of, whatever is your passion in pro bono or public service, why it is so important for you to do your pro bono and public service. Thank you.
But you don't have to get worried. I don't have a speech. And I haven't eaten. So this is going to be short. You know, I'm the youngest of 8 children. I lived in a home where no one was mistreated. So it was challenging to me when I found that there were numerous young people who were beaten and mistreated. I couldn't figure it out. It just seemed that there's no reason to do those things unless you are protecting yourself. Just a word or so about pro bono. I practiced for a while, and I did pro bono work when I didn't know I was doing pro bono work. So when I had an opportunity to do pro bono work, I was very pleased. I believe in it more than I ever thought I would. But every person who has a reason to be in our courtrooms, they have the right to have counsel if they cannot afford it. And it's a very difficult situation to some people to ask for help. But for those of you who are sitting in this room, if someone hasn't helped you, you're not telling the truth. So how do we do pro bono work? You volunteer. You sign up for it. Because as a lawyer and a member of this profession, you want to be sure that people who come into our courts are able to express their side and to have someone assist them. Now I did, as I said, I did a lot of pro bono work, but the main thing that I did was working with children. And I don't know why I care so much about children. But maybe because people were kind to me when I was a child, because I had the habit of speaking up, believe it or not, you can't believe this, and saying what I had on my mind. Even when I was 8 and 9 years old, so my mother and father didn't kill me, so I thought maybe I was doing something right. But I care about children because they are children. They're not adults, and they live in the world that is run by adults. So we have to make allowances for them, but not too many. So when I just have to tell the truth on myself. I dealt with juveniles. Now, there are some young men right now who will tell you they would do anything rather than come in my court. I couldn't beat them up. But if I'd been a man, I probably would have taken them outside. That's what men do, you know. You go outside with me, right? And you beat them up, and then you come back in and sit down as if nothing has happened. Well, I didn't do that. So I used my words. So I'm going to tell you something that happened to me about 4 or 5 weeks ago. It's the strangest thing I think that's ever happened to me. My husband and I were in one of the restaurants. And I saw 2 people sitting in, it's like I just see the backs of their heads. Well, I didn't know who they were, and not my business. And then there's this young man who's on the floor beside me, looking up at me, and said, "You know, I hear your voice every day, Judge Talifero." And I said, "Why?" He said, "I was in your courtroom, and I will never forget what you said to me. You scared me, so I've never done anything wrong." I said, "Are you sure?" So anyway, long story short, I run into these young people. And, you know, he was pro bono. I wasn't getting paid for that work I did. But you have the opportunity not to embarrass these children or the people who come to you, not to insult them, but to be very honest with them. That's the bigger challenge. It's easier, I think, to get angry and say, you know, you're never going to amount to anything, or whatever it is. But your job is to talk to them, help them understand that the way they're thinking is wrong and why, and the things they're doing, and also to tell them that you do have talent. There are things that you can do. And children are children. Don't you remember being a child? How many of you were perfect? Raise your hands. There's one person to raise their hand. I can't believe it.
I'm joking.
Just, yeah, okay. I was going to give you the opportunity to tell me how you. Perfection is not a term we use for people. But in any event, so thank you so much for volunteering to help continue to do that. You don't do everything that you do is not going to be pro bono. But there are cases in situations when people cannot afford to hire counsel. And you can afford to share some of your time with them, because that gives the person who doesn't have the money the opportunity to get the same benefits and the same treatments that the people get if they are able to hire counsel. So thank you very much.
Judge, thank you for those inspiring words. I have to say, Judge Taliaferro has given 2 speeches since I've been dean of the law school. She swore in the first-year students this summer at orientation, and they come up to me in the hallway. They're still afraid of her, and I think achieved exactly what we wanted to do. Yes, it was impressive. It was impressive. Well, look, before I get started handing out the awards, I also wanted to make some thank yous. A tremendous amount of work by Katie and Kayleen here, and I think you should join us in that. Professor Carwino Eng, who's also hiding in the corner. And I also wanted to extend this thank you from the school to Monica and Fabry Baker and Daniels for the support of this program. It really means a lot that we have this connection with such an impressive firm in Indianapolis, and for your support of the law school program. Again, if you could join us. And then lastly, to Bridget and Inga in my office for helping coordinate this program, which is incredibly helpful. So one last round of applause. From my perspective, law school is really only relevant if it is having an impact on society. That could be largely the way that we train our graduates to go on to be the future leaders in the United States and beyond. It can be the way that our faculty interact both with their research and scholarly ambitions and through our clinics. But one of the most direct way that our students learn how to be great lawyers, and the way they learn to have an impact while they're in law school, is through the pro bono work and public service that they do. That's incredibly important, not only for the impact that you make on the local community, both here in Indiana and beyond. It's incredibly important in your own professional development. But frankly, and I said this selfishly, it's incredibly important for me as a dean of law school to be able to say that our school is making a difference in the lives of families and individuals here. And so my particular thank you from the faculty and from the school generally. You are so important to our mission and what we mean to be a first leading law school here in Indiana. The numbers are pretty stark. I was given the almost 12,000. I had 11,754 hours for volunteer this past summer by students in the law school. That's an incredibly impressive number. And last year, the graduating class combined did throughout their 3 years more than 15,000 hours of pro bono public service before they graduated. That's a great point of pride for us, and one that I hope that will continue to grow and increase. Today we get to recognize and thank those who have committed the most pro bono hours, and I have the privilege of presenting, let me count it correctly, 5 different awards. Kayleen, you're going to keep me honest on this, so don't do it. So the first person is unable to attend today, but she's being recognized for the most pro bono hours for the class of 2014, and the award goes to Jessica Jackson McLean with 1,445 hours of service. Jessica was born in Mishawaka, Indiana, and is a first-generation college graduate. She graduated summa cum laude from Indiana University with a double major in psychology and criminal justice, and a minor in political science. She was a Michael Maurer Fellow in the IU Maurer class of 2014. While in law school, she interned for the U.S. Department of Commerce, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Northern District of Indiana Magistrate Judge, District 10 Pro Bono, as the Sargent Shriver National Center for Poverty Law. She was Vice President of Outlaw and Secretary General of the American Constitutional Society. She also worked on the LGBT clinical project and participated in the Williams Institute moot court competition at UCLA. She was admitted to the bar of the state of Indiana last month. I can say this because she's not here. Don't you hate these overachievers? I don't even know how you fit that much in during law school. So she's not here, but Kayleen is going to show and present it to Katie as the friend. If you're friends with Jessica, I hope you'll reach out and congratulate her on that really impressive honor. The next award is for the most pro bono hours for the class of 2015. This goes to Jackson Beach. He's unable to attend today because he's not in the country, which seems to be a legitimate excuse. Jackson is a 3L student from Washington State. He has interest in government and international law. He worked as an intern for the General Counsel for the University of Washington, his alma mater, and at Tilliak & Gibbons, an international law firm in Bangkok, Thailand. This autumn, Jackson was published in the Bangkok Post and contributed constitutional review papers for the United Nations Development Program. Jackson is currently studying abroad at ESADE Law School in Spain, pursuing his interest in the comparative study of legal systems. In his spare time, Jackson is playing for the Spanish minor league basketball club, AESE. I don't write these bios, but that's impressive. Congratulations. Now I think we get to the people who are here. Will John join me at the podium? Will is from the class of 2016, and he has the distinction of having contributed to more than 108 hours of public service. Will John is a 2L student who hopes to become a public defender. During the summer before law school, Will served as an intern investigator for the Public Defender Service for the District of Columbia. During her first year of law school, Will volunteered for the Inmate Legal Assistance Project and the Tenant Assistance Project. He was also a 1L representative for the Public Interest Law Foundation. This summer, Will interned in the state of New Jersey's Office of the Public Defender in Hudson County. Currently is the student director of the Inmate Legal Assistance Project and an executive board member for the Tenant Assistance Project. Congratulations. It's really Would Stephen Korfman join me? Stephen graduated from, well, first I should say 526 and a half. I like the precision. Stephen graduated from Antioch College in 2004 with a degree in social and global studies. He then administered a campus leadership program at Antioch for a year and founded the college's socially responsible investment committee before moving to a small publishing company where he managed research for publications about the gambling industry. During the course of managing research, Stephen discovered a pattern of unresolved consumer disputes and persuaded the company to create a dispute resolution pilot project. He grew that project into a 15,000-member professional association serving 60 countries. To supplement his career with community service, Stephen conducted fair housing testing for the Equal Rights Center in Washington, D.C., and was an intake interviewer for the D.C. Employment Justice Center's Workers' Rights Clinic. Stephen returned to D.C. for his 1L summer, where he interned for the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, assisting in the prosecution of human trafficking, hate crimes, and police misconduct. Stephen is an associate editor of the Social Equality Journal, is the program director for our LGBT legal project, and is spearheading an initiative to expand fair housing protections in the Bloomington Human Rights Ordinance. That's really impressive. Stephen, congratulations. And lastly, we want to give the award for the outstanding community member for the Protective Order Project. Do we have a particular representative?
Yes.
Come on up. You're the next. No, at least one. Who said that? Yes, you're up. One of you guys got to come up and receive the award. We need a picture. The Protective Order Project is a student-directed project here at the Indiana University Maurer School of Law. It was formed 25 years ago to help victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and stalking obtain and enforce civil protection orders. Another function of the Protective Order Project is to provide first, second, and third-year law students with practical experience under the guidance of local volunteers attorneys. The ultimate goal is to prevent further incidents of abuse, both by restraining abusers and by empowering victims. So far, this year, the project has opened 28 cases. currently have 60 active volunteers who conduct office hours, perform client intakes, write legal memos, draft petitions, and assist with preparing clients for hearings. That's a tremendously impressive work. Thank you for all that you do. Congratulations.